Boz.
Has spoken.
Welcome to the Land of Boz with Jeff Bosley.
Hey, what's up everyone? It's Tuesday, January 29th. Welcome to the Land of Boz, the first week of everything being free. And yeah, that's true. I just had an urge to put a sound effect there, but it would have been forced. So I won't put one. But yeah, the first week of everything being free, somebody DM'd me and said, "Are you sure people aren't going to take advantage of you?" Oh, I'm sure people are going to take advantage of this. I guess the people, though, that I've surrounded myself with that I know or I don't know, or the strangers or the people that support me or been with me, they kind of have, y'all have kind of self-filtered. I don't have a bunch of a-holes or evil people following me or supporting me, so I trust the conscience of people supporting me. And could backfire. I could end up putting out 20 plus hours of content a month, and it end up accidentally costing me more time and money than I get out of it. But it is what it is. I guess at the end of the day, as this thing evolves, I want people to realize this isn't a pay for product, so to speak. It's not like you put money in and get a specific item. It's more funding the dream. Hope that doesn't sound too artsy fartsy, but yeah. So it is what it is, and it's just everybody's part of that journey. And it's cool because I do try to give everybody as much content as I can, and inspiration and entertainment, and how people choose to quote unquote fund that is up to them. People who've been with me long enough know I don't. Excuse the language, I don't dick around, and everything I do is for a reason, and a lot of it I do is, all of it I do is because I want to. So everything I do, I do it for you. Good Lord. So yeah, welcome to Tuesday. It has been an interesting day. I treated myself to, because because of my job, I am allowed to be a little bit wiggly, and it's a catch-22 because with that wiggliness also comes some serious downtimes as far as income, but also that creates a little bit of schedule flexibility. So my Monday became my Saturday. I didn't set an alarm. I slept in because I worked both days this weekend, so I treated Monday like a Saturday and slept in. Went to the gym at 2 p.m. And holy God, that place is busy. Good Lord. That's, again, just further proves why I go to the gym at 3, 4, and 5 in the morning, because anything after that is chaos. But it's been a good day. Got some rest, spent some time with my dog, texted some friends, and here I am. Ran some errands, got some groceries. You know, I filled my empty fridge with a thing of chicken. And that's actually it. My fridge just has a thing of chicken in it. But let's get into the show. Well, it's awesome because people get a hold of me, whether on Patreon or DMs on Instagram or any other means possible. Just do not try to get a hold of me on Facebook Messenger. Not to sound pretentious or cocky or arrogant, but Facebook does not allow you to turn that off, and I get hundreds of messages on there, and so the real one, not that they're not all real, but the ones I need to see from like friends or family, I miss. So it takes a lot of time for me to read through them and get caught up on people trying to interact with me consistently through there. So if you have my number, text me. Email's much better, but Facebook Messenger, no. But any other platform, I do everything I possibly can because it kind of self-filters. But what was I going with that? But I do get Q&As sometimes, and I will attend or address a couple of those right now.
Don't ask questions you aren't prepared to handle the answer to.
So I'm only going to answer 2 questions because they're both pretty lengthy and meaty. But the first one comes from a gentleman, and he says, "Hey Boz, what food and how much do you eat when training?" That is a very long answer, but I will do my best. The description will be in the show notes also. I use what is called the Harris-Benedict. It's a calculation that takes into account your age, your height, your workout effort, and then calculates your caloric needs. And that I have been bodybuilding and watching my diet, my nutrition since 1996. So I use that as a calculation, and I plug that into a book I read, and I've been following that for the last 2 months, or last month and a half. I've gone back to my basics. A book called by Dr. Warren Wiley called "What Does Your Doctor Look Like Naked?" Or no, he wrote 2 books. If you're a beginner, check out "What Does Your Doctor Look Like Naked?" It's a funny title, but it's a good question, because a lot of people that give us advice are really not, shouldn't be. And then the book I'm following, however, is his follow-up book to that called "Better Than Steroids," and it's not talking about taking steroids, but it's talking about what you can do with your diet naturally that can have better results, better than steroids, as in safer and more long-term and sustainable. So I use that Harris-Benedict equation to get my calories, and then I use that, and then I use the Better Than Steroids. Dr. Wiley has he has multiple different programs at the end of the book that you can use those calculations in. There's like a increased muscle, decrease fat. There's all these different templates, and I plug that into there. And as far as what I eat bare minimum. I don't hate variety, but because I track what I eat, it's just easier to eat less variety. So I use My Macros Plus. It's an app, and I don't want to enter more than I have to. So I don't do much variety, and it's faster that way. So I don't add all these amazing little wazoo extras to all my meals. I will weigh my chicken, stab a fork in it, and eat it like a popsicle, and just eat it off the fork. Same with my yams or sweet potatoes. Each meal has probably no more than 3 ingredients: oatmeal and protein powder, chicken and yams, and maybe olive oil. Pretty much just summed up everything I eat all day long. And right now for the Jack Reacher thing, I'm really trying to get size. And since Jack Reacher is supposed to look like a bodybuilder, I'm being kind of liberal as far as worrying about showing my abs. So right now I'm just doing everything in my power, because my body does not want to be big right now. So I'm just eating a lot. It's good food, but I'm eating a lot. But I'm training 6 days a week. My 7th day is yoga, but I'm eating a lot of food, but based on my needs. Basically, when you're trying to lose fat, you need to be in a caloric deficit, which means you're eating less calories than your body needs, so your body burns fat for energy. Calories in, calories out. No matter what fad or true or trendy diet out there, the fact remains: to lose weight or muscle or fat, you have to be eating less calories than you have to be consuming less calories than you burn. That's a fact. If intermittent fasting or all the other diets out there do that for you, great, but whatever makes that calculation a caloric deficit. Currently for me, however, I need to be in a caloric surplus so I can build size. With that comes the risk of getting a little bit less ripped, but that's fine, because Jack is not supposed to be a shredded bodybuilder. So that's kind of a summary answer. Like I said, I'll tag it in the show description. And then question number 2, and the way this is worded, I'm actually not sure what you're asking, but you wrote, when you have hit the lowest point ever, what then? Can't decide anymore. I have hit some seriously low points, and I can't really take credit, but I don't know who to credit for the way I'm wired. I don't know if it's ego or some cyborg emotional willpower, but I have this die trying, and all these sound seriously cliche and trite, but it's so, when I came, I'll go to the extremes with the Green Beret training. There were some moments, this sounds so cocky, I have never ever remotely entertained quitting my big stuff, the Green Beret tryouts, the Green Beret training. Everybody has doubt. I had doubt and like, holy crap, I hope I can do this. But my lowest points, not once did I go, okay, I'm going to quit and try something else. That's not to say I don't have my low points, but for whatever reason, I'm wired or I've programmed myself, good, bad, or indifferent. I never entertain an alternative. I never entertain quitting. Yeah, and it's at the expense of my social health, my physical health, my spiritual and mental health, my interactions with friends and family, and relationships. If I meet a girl or whatever, all these things are massively impacted by this drive and this attitude. But my lowest point, it's yet to happen. And I just like anybody, I think I've had some dark points and hard points in my life. I think one of my lowest points was just kind of when things were south in my divorce many years ago, and recently in a giant relationship ender recently. I don't want to say I was low and depressed, but I was in like shit just kind of sucked in general. I was all for how everything went, bullets dodged, so to speak, but things still just sucked. And when it came to like my divorce, honestly, my sister said, Jeff, go get a dog. And that's how I got Izzy. And having to take care of her combined with the way I'm wired, got me out of that darkness, if you will. And not to trivialize it or anything, but I've never been at home contemplating, total termination or the end of my life. Nothing that dark. Everybody's low point is relative. And I'm very fortunate that my low point never came to that. But my low point for me is different than your low point for you. But I just refuse to quit and refuse to die, refuse to not die trying. And it's at a risk and it's at a cost. And I always say this in all my little metaphors, but at the end of the day, when my head hits my pillow, or maybe if my head hits the pillow in my casket, I need to know I did everything in my power to do what I wanted for me and my friends, family, loved ones. And so it's one of my tattoos, my why. The initials on my why tattoo are the why I do what I do and why I've been able to do what I do in my life because of them. And so those initials I literally have tattooed on my body to keep me in, to remind me why I'm doing what I do and how to stay out of that low point. And if I am in that low point, I look at that and realize I'm doing everything I'm doing it for them. And if that takes my health, my sanity, my relationships, my friendships, if it takes that to help these people on my Y tattoo and anybody that outside of them, so be it. And that's not to be a martyr or a Jesus complex. That's just, if I'm in a low point, I look at that. So I guess my answer to your question is find your why. And if you're not sure what that is, sit down and have a really big come to Jesus moment and figure out what your why is and use that. Never forget it. And hell, if you're into tattoos, get it tattooed on you. Remember your why. Unless the tattoo is a relationship. Don't get a tattoo of your significant other. That's the kiss of death. But yeah, that's my answer to those two questions. I hope that helps, and I'm willing to expand upon it. So chime in and hit me up on all the ways you possibly can. So I really appreciate your time, and hopefully I was able to at least establish a little bit of dialogue for you. Thanks. I can't wait until I can actually get like a co-host in here. I think that would actually help a lot. Scott is obviously my default. He will be my go-to sidekick, co-host, whatever. Just, god dang, logistics and money. But in the meantime, this would be a spot where it'd be cool to have him here. I want to bring a new segment because as a consumer podcast, I always find these interesting. So let's do a little bit of today's trivia.
Welcome to Trivia Night, a perfect storm of unholy truths, but it's also an affordable vacation for the whole family.
And basically, I found a lot of random pieces of trivia that are interesting and also terrifying. So I will just riff, and we'll see how this goes. Today's trivia for Tuesday, November 29th. Bones found at Seymour Island indicate that 37 to 40 million years ago, penguins stood at a formidable 6 feet tall and weighed 250 pounds. Penguins were me. That is terrifying. That needs to be a horror movie. This is good for me. According to a 2015 study, sarcasm can promote creative thinking. So that's really good. And crazy. Oh, this is like a little feel-good moment of the day. A blind viewer once asked Mr. Rogers to narrate what he was doing. So Mr. Rogers always mentioned out loud that he was feeding his fish because the young blind viewer once asked him to do so. She wanted to know that the fish were okay. Ah. Oh, what else here? For those of you nerds out there, J.K. Rowling invented Quidditch in a pub. Well, how much stuff has been invented with alcohol? Reed Hastings said that he was inspired to start Netflix after a $40 late fee on a VHS copy of Apollo 13. Who remembers going to the video store? Like, I remember growing up with my sister and later with friends. That was like the thing you would end up doing. Hell, I remember in college, we would go down to Hollywood Video and rent a movie. Oh my God, I just got really nostalgic and borderline depressed. God, man, things were so much more simple back in college. Wow. All right, well, trivia day just made me all sad and crap. The average cumulus cloud weighs roughly 1.1 million pounds. Never would have guessed that. Holy crap. These are, like I said, these might be more for me than you, but the heads on Easter Island actually have bodies. So under the grass. No kidding. Sorry, vegans, vegetarians. The smell of fresh cut grass comes from the chemicals the plants release when in distress. So while you're butchering the grass, it's freaking the F out and screaming and making smells. And for those of you who remember the book by Margaret Wise Brown, Goodnight Moon, the New York Public Library initially refused to stock this book. I don't know why. A couple more. Ha! Those are lame. Great white sharks rarely survive in captivity. Experts suspect the electricity in buildings interferes with the animal's electrosensory systems, though it hasn't stopped some aquariums from trying and failing to display them. Oh, that's sad. Where else? Let's see. What catches my eye? We'll end on this note. Guinness, as in, I would assume Guinness beer, not Guinness World Book of Records, estimates that 93,000 liters of beer are lost in facial hair each year in the UK alone. That is why I want to go to the UK, meet up with a radio show host. I've been on his show several times, Mr. Craig Avery, and go to a pub and contribute, because most of the time I have a beard, contribute to some lost liters of beer. So you know what? That has been today's trivia. Yet another new segment. There's a lot of people and organizations in my life that I truly, truly believe in. So I guess I should start mentioning them. They don't ask me to do this. This is purely out of the purity of my own heart, because I firmly believe in them. So a little shout out segment called Pay Attention.
Yeah, I called her up. She gave me a bunch of crap about me not listening to her enough or something. I don't know. I wasn't really paying attention.
So basically, I want to bring up, I don't know, things that just need recognition one way or another. I'm fortunate, and I can kind of see how when people get big, if you will, how they can use their platform to help others. And I'm getting a little bit of taste of that, so it's the least I can do to hopefully maybe bring a little attention to other people and quit begging for crap for me, because I truly do believe in paying it forward. I just, not materialistically, but I truly just wish I had all the money in the world and could just help everyone I care about. But in the meantime, today I want to bring a little attention to an amazing friend named Megan. She is a veteran. She is an athlete. She is an Olympic hopeful. I've tagged her in the description of the show. Her Instagram username is the Savage Meglet, and I didn't know this until we had interacted and started talking, that despite I guess probably, and I'm probably the end user. I probably represent all of y'all when it comes to Olympic athletes. We just assume they train and they go to the Olympics, and that's that. A lot of it, there's still, just like any of us, we still have to pay our bills, and everything they do, all the traveling they do, it's not as super peachy convenient as we all probably think it may be. And their dreams, just like any dream, isn't exactly the most convenient in the world. And Megan is an extremely sweet person, and she works her ass off. Follow her, go check it out. You can't help but be just hypnotized by her smile and her work ethic. She's been competing this weekend. Forgive me for not knowing this where she's at right now, but she just competed. She just had a rough run that resulted in a kind of some financial necessity, because just like anything, there's always equipment, and if equipment gets busted or broken, it's got to cost money. So check her out. I've tagged her. I've tagged her. A couple other links to just if you want to help support her. She's an amazing vet, an amazing human being, and she wants to represent the US of A. So check her out. She's awesome. And the second thing I want to bring up is the organization I work passionately with. I was with this weekend. A couple months ago, just after Thanksgiving, I spent a lot of time with them up in Connecticut, completely having my eyes open. I'm actually going to bring this up later in the fitness segment. Is the Catch a Lift Fund. This is not pitchy. They don't ask, like I said, they do not ask me to do this. But the amazing men and women who founded this or fuel this organization, the short of it is it's for veterans who have been injured in combat. And just like for those of you who know veterans or are veterans yourself, you get kind of losing your purpose. And that's just comes with being out of the military. Now imagine being out of the military and injured and or missing limbs, or just forever changed. Catch a Lift basically provides funds to help those military members who are injured in combat get back into kind of to have a purpose, particularly in health and fitness. They provide everything from gym memberships to adaptive equipment to home gyms and everything in between. There's nothing they won't look at and entertain. And I was in Connecticut, and I'll touch on this later in the fitness segment too, but I don't ever disclose what happened to me for my combat-related injury, just because it's not important. I don't want it. Other people's stuff is more important than me. But I was there, and I got to see two men who were in a wheelchair, missing both their legs, work harder than anyone I've ever seen, and I was just in awe. And it's because of this organization. So again, the link or their Instagram handle is in the description. Check them out. Just like any nonprofit, their heart is 1,000% in the right place. It's just constantly needing the funds to do what they do, and what they do is the most selfless act I've ever seen. And check them out. They're an amazing crew. Yeah, those are two huge things to this week that mean a lot to me. Megan and Catch a Lift. Check them out, and just if any, support them, throw them some likes, throw them some shares. I know the way that the world we live in, social media can actually have a huge impact. So it really means the world to me. And even though they didn't ask me to do this, I know it'll mean the world to them. So thanks for your time. I touched on it in the last segment, so I might as well do a little bit of fitness rant. It's not so much educational as it is maybe fitness motivation. So here is fitness motivation chat thing.
Okay, I'm gonna get a Bowflex. I'm gonna commit. I'm gonna get some dumbbells.
You know you can't eat dumbbells, right?
So today's fitness thing is not so much education as far as like, here's how to calculate this or do this. It's more maybe a little maybe kick in the ass, a little bit of motivation. I wasn't doing the podcast at the time this happened to me, and so it's kind of retroactive, but I spoke earlier in the show about the Catch a Lift Foundation. And let me paint you a picture. So I'm in Connecticut. My combat related injury, I'm lucky, don't get me wrong. But I'm not being hard on myself or trivializing what happened to me or anybody else, but I have all my fingers and toes, all my limbs. And I was in Connecticut with Catch a Lift Fund for what they call their Warrior Weekend, where, don't get me wrong, this was a smoker of a 4 days. I mean, all we did was train and exercise, train and be challenged and motivated. It was an amazing, amazing weekend by Catch a Lift. And I remember specifically we were at a CrossFit gym, and don't get me wrong, I was smoked. I was tired. And I looked over, her name is Sarah. She was actually at the Fit Expo with me. She, through, I want to say an explosion, she is missing one of her legs. And I saw her, and she literally pulled off her leg, poured the sweat out, put it back on, and went back to work. So how dare I remotely consider quitting? So any of us, if you're looking for motivation, if anything, just follow Catch a Lift and look at their athletes. We were doing one event at the end of the Warrior Weekend in Connecticut where we had to do like sled pulls where you put, or sled pushes where you put, the weights on that little sled and push it across. And we were in a parking lot of the local fire station. We were pushing it across the blacktop. Yeah, it was a smoker. I mean, my lungs were on fire. My legs were on fire. And actually, was that the night I didn't get any sleep? Regardless, boohoo, poor me. But there were two gentlemen specifically that are missing both their limbs, or lower limbs, and they're in wheelchairs, obviously. And they had jury-rigged ways to compete in that event, so they didn't just sit aside. I remember seeing a video of them in their wheelchairs doing battle ropes. And I remember seeing another video of them in their wheelchair. If I remember it correctly, they had the sled tied to their chair, and they were pulling the sled behind them. And keep that in mind. Anytime any of us are pissing and moaning about going to the gym or looking for motivation, imagine what these military combat-related injury athletes would do to be in our boat, where our boo-hoo is like, oh, I don't want to get up early, I don't want to go to the gym. They would probably kill for that. These people missing limbs. So keep it in perspective. I use this to like kind of chew my own ass when I'm dragging a little bit, because I've directly seen these men and women do things that, I don't know, they're just better people than me. And so when you're dragging ass and when you're like questioning how hard you want to work, think of these people. Your inconvenience is your own personal motivation, and you, me included, we have all of our limbs and all of our faculties. We haven't been, I mean, I've been blown up, but we haven't, we're lucky where we are. And there's these other individuals that still go to the gym. They find a way to go to the gym. They have a home gym through Catch a Lift. They some way, shape, or form still train. How dare we not do our part and be kind of aware of our blessings. So any morning where you're questioning or you're dragging ass and it's hard to get to the gym or hard to do anything, just keep in mind these military athletes. And I'm not getting on the left or right side of politics or the military, but one way or another, these people signed up, and I don't want to. I feel bad being in their company, and I don't know how to explain that. But they signed up to do what it took to protect the people they cared about, and some of them lost their limbs. And if they can drag their ass to the gym. Again, I watched Sarah. I'll tag her in this. Her account's private, but just do some looking around the internet. Watching Sarah do what she does, it really keeps it in perspective. And if any of you are having fitness goals, and I'm not discrediting if you have a lifetime of obesity or poor nutrition habits, that's hard. Do not get me wrong. I respect it, and I value the difficulty. But If individuals that can be blown up, lose their leg, and still come back, get to the gym, and lose 100 plus pounds because they also were overweight when they were blown up, we have no excuse. So I use this as a platform to motivate and kind of punch you in the face with a little bit of reality, because I know when I'm pissing and moaning, I think of the people I've met at Catch a Lift. So keep it in perspective, and yeah, I hope that motivates you. And if you're looking for reasons to get out of bed and get to the gym and change your life, think of these vets who have changed their life with high percentages of less assets. So, yeah, that's all I have to say about that. And in keeping with my adherence to health and rest, I got to cut the show short. It's 30 minutes. I normally do at least sometimes double that, but it is 8 o'clock at night. I still got some editing to do, and I have a long day tomorrow. I have some meetings for Jack Reacher, and I got to practice what I preach and get my life in order. And one of those things I'm getting in order is rest and sleep. So I got to exercise some discipline and call my night quits. But I appreciate you listening. I'm hoping you're appreciating this and enjoying it. Feel free to, as always, to hit me up on any platform regarding Q&A or topics you want to discuss or any topics you want to elaborate on, and we will go from there. And for those of you who are still supporting the Patreon page, thank you. And also for everybody, and this is not a made-up story just for the sake of saying it this way, for 5, 6, 7, 8 years now, people have been wanting to be part of the Bosley journey, if you will, and kind of be producers of my career or my life. And it never really occurred to me to find a way to do that, and I have found a way to do that on Patreon, on the patreon.com/Jeff Bosley page. You'll see multiple ways to do that. You can do it via Patreon. And I hesitantly, but figured, what the hell, people wouldn't ask or say that if they didn't genuinely mean it. So I provided other avenues to do that. There's even an Amazon shopping list, PayPal and Venmo, just for people like I'm going to call you the producers of my career. There's been so many people that wanted to be part of it. So I've given you a way to do it. As I've said in the past, I do value everything anybody does for me, and I do all this for you. So it's a collaborative process. All of the stuff I try to do, it's for somebody else, and it means the world to me that it comes back to me some way, shape, or form, and just fuels the journey, so to speak. So thank you. Everything you've done for me means the world to me, and hopefully everything I do for you is appreciated, at least somehow motivating, entertaining, or inspiring. And in the meantime, it is what I say. It's Tuesday morning. Please go forth, conquer, kick ass, be relentless. Adios, everyone. Take care.